Không thương mọt chứ mà, không thương mọt chứ mà. Ăn nó này.
Mrs. Lắm đấy, lắm chốt.
Bad.
Bad. Grey high. Hail show. March. Pao slow.
Well, I'm done with that now.
Dương An một đòn mà.
An lư mà, An lư ai lục đạp. An.
I don't really like to do that.
An lư ai lục đạp.
Everyone took a seat around the kitchen table. Herbie called a special session of the Lambchop family meeting to order. Announced Mr. Lambchop, let's begin by welcoming our esteemed guest, Mrs. Lambchop. Mr. Dart, would you like a snack? She slid a bowl across the table, full with chip, sprinkled with secret ingredient that Stanley had raised favorite, retrieved from Mexico. Stanley stared at the hand. He was thinking he could go to Africa to see the fun.
Đã chứ, không phải là tỏ ăn đi.
Ăn sốt chè bán kia. Bake coat này.
Maybe you will after all. I want to get mail to Africa, he declared. Absolutely not, said Mrs. Lancha. It's one thing to fly airmail to a major city like Tokyo, Cairo, or Mexico City. Who knows how often mail is delivered in most remote region Africa? Shut down the volume, it's distracting me. Your mother's right, Stanley, said Mr. Lambchop. It isn't safe. But I have to. What if the skull is the same as me? Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop exchanged look. No way, Arthur Burke asked, if reading their minds. I am not missing another big adventure. Stanley gets to circle the globe while I have to stay home and miss all the fun. It isn't fair! These are the most delicious chip I ever tasted, said Mr. Dart, shoveling another handful into his mouth. Maybe you should all go, Mr. Lambchop. I can't, George, said Mrs. Lambchop. I'm hosting my fundraiser for Grandma Sostry on Saturday. I still have to dot the I across the T on all the place cards. Besides, how could we possibly afford airplane tickets to African? Facebook. I already know. Perhaps you could fly courtesy of famous museums. After all, investigating a matter until we find the coffee and feel so museum dismissed. If it is the least we could do for you, Stanley, after all your help. Or probably could just justify only 2 airplane tickets to our board of directors. And Arthur going that figure. I stay folded in a pocket in the back of the airplane seat offer, so both you and Dad could come. So you would do that? Said Arthur. Sure, said Stanley. I only slip out from under the seatbelt away. That settled it, beside Mr. Lambchop. Boys, pack your bags for Africa.
Nairobi.
Since becoming flat, Stanley has grown used to traveling long distances. But the flight to Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, was particularly difficult. The flight attendants had insisted that Stanley could not be folded into a seat pocket. Just boys nearly the size of a small sleeping bag, sir. She had said it's unsafe, despite Mr. Lambchop's protest. She demanded that Stanley be checked underneath the cabin with the passenger baggage. As a result, Stanley had spent the entire flight in the noisy belly of an airplane with no one to talk to except a very frightened caged poodle, a set of golf club, a many large suitcase. Stanley had a great deal of time during his trip to ponder how hard a life of flatness could be. Needless to say, he was relieved when a rubber flap on a baggage conveyor belt brushed his forehead, and he emerged into the bright light of the airport. "There he is," cried Arthur. Mr. Lanchop ran up and pulled Stanley off the baggage car float. It felt awfully good to stretch out. The moment they stepped outside, the two Lanchops were surrounded by people offering to take them wherever they want to go. Mr. Lanchop pursed his lips and peered out, looking lost. This made people shout more loudly. Someone yelled, "You need a taxi," almost knocking Stanley over like a piece of cardboard. "Stanley, where's your brother?" Mr. Lanchop asked suddenly in a panicked voice. Stanley glanced around and saw nothing but a sea of arms waving in his face. "Lift me up," he said, and Mr. Lanchop raised him over a crowd like a periscope. Stanley saw Arthur making his way through the crowd, followed by an African boy by Arthur J. "Here he is," said she, matter-of-factly. "Arthur Lanchop," scolded Mr. Lanchop. "How dare you wander off into stage country?" "But this boy can help us," said Arthur. "His name is Ondonga." Ondonga smiled brightly at Stanley. "Hello," said Stanley, and Mr. Lanchop. "Ondonga," said nothing. "He doesn't speak English," explained Arthur. "Arthur," said Mr. Lanchop, what have I told you about going off with a stranger?" "But I know we can trust Ondonga," said Arthur. "How?" Mr. Lanchop crossed his arm. Arthur pointed to Ondonga's teacher. His picture of it's very faded, and Stanley had to lean closer to see. He was surprised to find a picture of himself on a ninja outfit, flying through the air with his leg thrust toward. It's been taken when he was in Japan and briefly associated with a movie business.